For more than a century, the Angus cattle business has been a haven for people with dreams. Bob Sitz and his family know the satisfaction of dreams fulfilled. They've worked hard to achieve their success here in Montana.
It's not an easy life here. We have a little more winter than some places, but for raising cattle, you just can't beat it. Angus cattle, they do it all. The old Angus cow, she's the superior beef animal. She'll forage where you'll have a hard time getting other cattle to go. They work well in the feedlot. Angus cattle have been very good to us.
Angus breeders are united by a common love for the land. They enjoy the challenge of working with nature to breed more efficient and more profitable cattle. Raising Angus cattle was the dream of Bob Sitz. From a modest beginning, he and his family have put together 1,000 registered Angus cattle, 9,000 acres of rangeland.
It's pretty hard to be a specialist, to be a rancher. You've got to be not afraid to work those 18-hour days. You've got to be a businessman, a laborer, a mechanic, a welder. You've got to do it all.
On the Sitz Ranch, there is but one product, Angus cattle. Bob Sitz and his family have staked their future on their ability to produce and sell top-quality registered bulls.
We sell a few bulls into registered herds, but probably 98% of our cattle go into commercial, just good commercial Angus herds. The Angus business has been very good to our family. We've raised 4 children. We have 2 through college now. It's supported us very well. I'd like to keep our children active in the Angus business if possible. We'd like to have them continue this as a way of life, if it's their desire.
Angus breeding is often a family business, whether it's on a large western ranch or a Midwestern farm. Glenn Swanson raises seed corn and soybeans, as well as Angus cattle. Glenn, his wife Judy, and their 3 girls run a family-oriented operation.
I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been for Judy, and our operation is expanded, and with the help of the girls, why, they're good help, and it's worked out real well.
Okay. I've made a round up there.
Of course, I've taken a lot of ribbing about it, but they've always been neighbors and friends of ours that have said, when are you going to get that boy? And I said, well, I'll stick my girl alongside of any boys. They can drive tractor or do anything any of the boys can. One thing about the girls, they've got the experience and they know how to work. And I think that's probably one of the best advantages they've got, is they're not afraid to work. They do a good job in whatever they do. Ever since I was a little boy.
Glenn's love for Angus cattle goes back a long way.
When I was a small boy, why, I had my play farm, and I'd draw pictures on the cardboards of Angus cattle, and I had them as my playthings, cattle and farm machinery. That's all I know.
Daughter Glenda is about to be married, but that won't change her attitude toward Angus.
I want to continue with my cattle herd, and in a few years, hopefully, we want to start farming on our own and raising our own herd and kind of start where Mom and Dad started, and because I want my kids to grow up kind of like I grew up and to show cattle and be involved as much as I was involved.
Well, like Mom says, it's really given me a responsibility, something that I have to do, and I felt I've learned a lot from showing Angus cattle, and it really makes you feel proud to walk out with a good heifer or something, stand at the top of your class. But even if you stand at the bottom of your class, you still feel like you're accomplishing something. You're out there showing cattle rather than in town running around.
It'll help them all through life. When they first started out and they got beat, you know, they wondered why. They had a hard time to understand it. But I says, well, now this is one thing you're going to have to get in your head right now. You're going to have to learn to lose. And you got to just go out again the next time and try a little harder.
Judy has seen many benefits for the family.
Well, for one thing, it's kept us together as a family because we've gone on the road quite a bit with the cattle through the years, and we've gone as a family. You can't put a price tag on lots and lots of good memories, and which we've got.
Like the best Angus breeders, Glenn continues to look to the future of his Angus herd.
One of our biggest goals is to put a sale on someday. We was hoping in the next year or two, we think maybe in 2 years we can do it. I'm never satisfied with my cow herd. I keep wanting it better, and it's hard to sell females and build a better cow herd. We've got a lot of competition from the exotics and the other breeds, but the Angus, I think, have come a long, long way in the last 10 years, and we can compete against any of them.
Conservation and diversification are keys to Swanson's success. Breeding Angus cattle fits well with Swanson's corn and bean farming. The result is a balanced agribusiness enterprise.
I like to see this grass on this ground. It's a good conservation program, and it makes me a little more diversified. We make just as much money with these cows on this ground as if we had it in corn and beans. This is $3,000 an acre land or such a matter, and we get a good return off of it with our cattle. When I started farming, I had 12 cows, and I could go to the bank and borrow against those cows. I always had collateral. It was a good investment through the years, and it's put us where we are.
Angus cattle can be a good investment for many people. Stan Shaw, an executive with a Wisconsin investment firm, has found a number of advantages in breeding registered Angus.
The financial benefits of the Angus business for us have been building an equity in a herd of cattle. Of course, I'm enjoying the advantages of a tax shelter, but I see it as a long-term investment that is going to pay dividends down the road. I really enjoy studying pedigrees and mating cows to bulls, and the great anticipation of waiting for that calf to come to see what the calf is going to be like and whether I have mated the right bull to the right cow. I think the other satisfaction is relaxation and enjoyment for me, getting away from the office, a place to spend some leisure hours. Has certainly been a great asset.
Stan and Barbara Shaw found that their children also benefited from the family's decision to become serious Angus breeders.
Several years ago, when we moved out to the farm, while our children were small, and we enrolled them in 4-H and decided they would take beef for a project.
I think particularly with our oldest daughter, when she started to show that first year, she was scared to death of her heifer. And now she's 18, and it's really her very favorite project. She would rather work with cattle than anything else. It's really turned out to be great for her.
Family involvement has been an important aspect of Angus breeding for the Shaws. It's quite different from their experience with horses.
Well, we had saddlebred horses before we got the Angus. It was fun for me, but I guess it was my hobby more than anyone else's.
I think you can't get the involvement with the entire family with the horse setup. It's much easier for a child to be able to make several cattle shows at a cost that you can afford to do, perhaps, than if you're in the horse business, and it's pretty hard if you want all of your children to do it for the same types of activities.
Angus breeders are individuals, yet they have a common trait. They enjoy being with each other. For the Shaws, Angus breeders are
super people. We've just really met a lot of wonderful people in Wisconsin and throughout the United States.
They're also the kind of people that I'm very happy to have my children associated with. That's the kind of people I like to have them grow up with and have good times with.
Registered Angus breeding provides a number of personal and family benefits. Over the long term, it's a sound financial investment.
I don't think that an Angus breeder should make the investment in Angus cattle as a short-term thing, but rather as a long-term investment in something that will be an enjoyable investment with a lot of satisfaction. At the same time, you have the tax advantages, and later years will pay dividends from the herd of cows that you've assembled.
These are dividends that Bob Sitz realizes the first Thursday every December. He's built his herd for 20 years. Sitz holds an annual sale of more than 200 purebred bulls, a sale which, in a few hours, contributes a major portion of his annual income.
You folks are at the right place, the right day. We have a snappy sale here. Those of you who've been here before know that. When you say no, be sure you mean it, because we do business that way, and it'll be quick. Let's start the sale and bring in that first calf.
The buyers at this sale are professionals, commercial cattlemen who raise thousands of head of cattle for national consumption. These cattlemen are demanding because their future livelihood depends on the quality of bulls they use.
You've got to sell, not just sell people cattle, but you're selling people on your program. They've got to be satisfied that you've got a program that's working and you're raising the kind of cattle that's going to work for them.
We've had real good luck with the bulls. We've increased our weaning weights, and our cows are milking a lot better since we've been using these Sitz bulls.
I guess the reason they come back, the man stands behind his product real good, and they've put about 120 pounds on the calves.
That's the Bob Rise special for, dear, in a prime mover, 111 index, number 4, 2,500 that he want to buy, 2,500, all right, 1,000, he want to give me 1,250, $1,500, give me $1,750, give me $2,200, $2,200, $2,500 here.
Our performance program is totally designed for our commercial customers. It's a combination of selecting for growth and maternal traits that translates to our commercial breeder in pounds and dollars. If we can increase their weaning weights and yearling weights, this means dollars in their pocket.
Last call, 47 and a half, handed out. Now 5,000, you want to be divided, you want to be divided, you want to be divided, now 2 and a half. Now 2 and a half, and a bit, now 52, and now 55,
Because of the importance of this sale, to ensure its success, Bob Sitz spends months preparing.
The biggest part of it starts back in September, and you start getting your sale catalog ready, you start getting the bulls in groups, and start feeding them up for the sale. You have your advertising.
65 minutes, give me 75. 65 minutes, now 65 minutes, now 65, 75, now 85. 65 minutes, now 85 minutes, now 65 minutes, now 85 minutes. They said no and sold him $7,500. Rice ranches, oh, they got a dandy.
For the amount of cattle we sold, it's been a very successful sale day. I feel very relieved the sale is over. We'll start tomorrow on next year's sale.
Faith in the future. Maybe that, more than any other trait, is the hallmark of the Angus breeder. A production sale is years in the making. The cattle sold are the result of planned matings made 2 and 3 years earlier. But along the way, Families working together have developed a closeness and a discipline that makes Angus breeding a way of life in which the American dream still comes true.